Hey there, boys and girls. Jim here. Welcome to my garage. Hey, since I've done the videos for the Trans-America Trail and the Continental Divide Trail, I had a lot of nice comments and a lot of questions about what kind of gear we carry with us and what kind of mods we've made to our motorcycles. And one of the viewers suggested why don't I just make a short video of some of this. So here we go. So Neil and I are both riding the 2012 KTM 500 EXCs. And on mine, in the back here, I've got this this rack. This is a Pro Moto billet rack. I think it's a pretty nice unit. It's very nicely made. A bit of work installing it. You have to do quite a bit of cutting on the plastics and so on, so it's not for the faint of heart. Over here I have this little extra heat shield over here. I put this on because I have my giant Loop Coyote bag hanging over here and keep some of the heat off of it. It's worked just fine. This is an extra tall seat from Seat Concepts. And this is a Safari 4.2 gallon gas tank. It's very well made, nice and thick, rugged, has a good cap on it. It's a real good quality product. Next up on the handlebars, let's see, what have we got here? Got the double take mirrors. These are real good. Haven't broken one yet. The handle grips, these are heated handle grips. These are from AME or AME products. They're really quite nice. They fit on with this little collar and a set screw there. And then the controls, this guy right here, you got one for each side. You can turn them on. And then you can set your temperature by how many times you press it. I think it has 6 levels. So if I want to go to like number 2, you go press it twice, and now I'll bring it up to that temperature. And they actually monitor the temperature in there, and it goes to that control point. So you just press it down and hold it and let off, and that shuts them off. And up front here, Baja Designs LED lighting. Practically a must to do something with the headlights on these things. They really suck in the stock headlight. At least on this year they did. And I do have a dimmer on this one, so when I'm riding on the highway I can dim it and not burn a hole through the oncoming traffic. Oh, and you probably noticed this thing here is my Home Depot windscreen. It's a 3M safety shield turned upside down. It's just velcroed in here, and then it has some wire ties holding it at the corners down there. It doesn't do too good a job of keeping the wind off your head, but it keeps some of the wind off my chest on the highways, and you know, it does a pretty good job of protecting all this stuff here with the electronics and stuff. I can put my gloves in here when it's raining, and they stay dry. So it's definitely useful. I'd like to have something a little better, but I haven't really come up with anything. That's all the other options seem awfully elaborate. So this stays out of the way. Can't say I'm real proud of it, but it definitely was helpful. Electronics. So I have a 12-volt power outlet here, wired into the circuit with a USB charger on there, so I can charge both my little camera and the Garmin GPS at the same time. The little camera is a Mobius. These are really intended for a dash cam in a car. I have 2 of these, so I can charge this one while I'm riding and have the other one up in the visor on my helmet, so I can video record. And they got these clever little clips that they clip into, so you can see how I mounted it onto the helmet here. This is just a extra visor that I purchased, and I sawed it up and had to modify it so that it's pointing in the right direction. These are about 65 bucks a pop, so pretty satisfied with them for that price. And then the GPS. Let's talk about GPSs a little bit. I'm not going to get into it. I'm sure there's some websites that can give you some real good informed recommendations on these. This one's about 4 years old. This is the Garmin Montana. On the plus side, it has a nice large screen, color. It's easy to read. They come with a preloaded topo map in them. So you're good to go with your tracks. You can load the tracks in and follow the tracks. It has plenty of storage, lots of battery life if you don't have it plugged in. It's rugged, waterproof. On the minus side, they're very expensive, 600 bucks. Hopefully there's something better in the market for less money today. And they're very complicated. It has so many settings and screens. You could spend your lifetime just learning this damn thing. So, and also another negative point: they do not come with what's called a routable map. So you can't say, "Gee, I want to go to this address. Show me how to get there." You have to go online and find a routable map and load that in there. It wasn't that hard to do once I found out about it. Like most things, it's not hard to do once you know how to do it. But it took us a few years before we figured that out. So, and I think that's about it for the equipment on the bike. Just a couple little quick tech tips that's going to work in. Just from our experience riding over the years and stuff, a couple little tricks we've come up with and learned the hard way. So I really like these little filter skins. I've used these on the last couple of rides. Halfway through the ride, the air filter is getting pretty dirty. You just pull off this skin and voila, you got a clean filter underneath. You don't have to pull the thing out and try to wash it in your hotel room and all the mess of trying to clean out the foam air filter. Saves time. And the other thing is make sure you run a steel sprocket on the rear. Believe me, we learned that lesson the hard way. That's another story though. So let's talk about gear a little bit. I'll show you some of the gear that Neil and I carry. We try to travel as light as possible. We're trying to live off the land, basically. We have plenty of money, of course, but so we buy what we need along the way. When we're stopping for the night, we're not cooking or camping or anything like that. We just crawl in the tents and sleep there. If I know that we're going to be on a long section and out overnight and it's going to be late till we get something to eat the next day, I'll try to grab a sandwich and maybe some orange juice in the gas and go the evening before, and I have that in my backpack, and make sure I got plenty of water and stuff. And so here's what we're carrying here. This is basically the stock tools that come with the KTM. You don't need too much. It pretty much does everything. The only addition is, of course, the tire irons, little bicycle pump, throw in a small vice grip that can come in handy. Of course, you need some tire patches. I picked this up over at Walmart. I like the size of the container and it seems to work really good. So I carry that with me. For sleeping, you got lightweight, backpacking tent, lightweight down sleeping bag. And I got a dry bag here this is Outdoor Products. I purchased this at Walmart, and it's held up real good. I've used this bag on both rides and it's still holding together. One thing I highly recommend is make sure you bring an extra pair of shoes with you, some slippers. These are the lightest things I could find. These are some Crocs. You're going to want to get those boots off in the evening when you get into a town or something, and those boots get pretty disgusting after about a week. This is just an emergency blanket. I didn't lay out the rain gear, but I think everyone knows you're going to need some rain gear, some pants, and a good jacket. Very important on these rides, especially once you get into the Rockies and east. I do carry a little backpack. I always make sure I have plenty of water and apple and candy bar in there. Can always survive. And then this is the giant loop coyote bag that I carry on the back. It just hooks on up here. I put these little hooks on here, and it's been very reliable. I really like this little bag. I think the bike rides good with it on there. It doesn't get in your way. It doesn't trap your leg or anything underneath it. Basically don't know it's there except for the extra weight. It's not as waterproof as you might think. The zipper can leak, especially if you get the zipper handles in the wrong place and the water gets in there. Then I put the dry bag behind here on the rack, just strap that on with some tie downs, and that's where I have my sleeping bag and the tent. There's not a lot of room in these things, so it's pretty restrictive. And let's talk about that a little bit more. You probably noticed that Neil runs the hard luggage on his, the aluminum boxes. They're nice. They're easier to get into, in and out of, put things away, and they're absolutely waterproof. You probably noticed on that last ride, if you watched the Continental Divide ride, that the subframe that holds that thing cracked. So there's a lot more to them. The other disadvantage of those, I got to point out, is that you go to stab your leg down and in a corner and get that boot caught underneath that thing, it'll about pull you off the bike. So Neil's done that a couple times. So I think so there's pluses and minuses of each one. I think that's about all I had. I want to keep this as short as possible. I hope you found this somewhat useful, and thanks for watching. Bye.